direction. Just where we'll point that bow, nobody knows. Well, we don't know if it's gonna be feast or famine. So sit your ass back and enjoy the Big John Show. Let it go! Watch that stump over.
Alright, welcome back, lifers. As y'all know, John introduced us the other day. I'm Clayton, so we're going to be introducing our first video, which is going to be some scouting that we're going to do. We're going to go check out some persimmon trees, which are down this road. As you can see, we got as far down the road as we could before the tree got in the way. We went ahead and turned around the truck. We're going to walk down here. One thing we do have is a pair of waders, because we got to cross a little section of water to get to the spot. So we're going to pack y'all back in, keep y'all safe, nice and dry. We're going to get across the spot, and we're going to go scout this spot for y'all. We're going to also look for deer tracks on this road along the way. So we're going to take y'all down. We're going to go scout these persimmon trees. Season's in like 7 days. We're going to go see if it's dropping fruit. If they're not, that's going to play into it. If they are, we'll probably come back and hunt it during the opening season on the right wind. So we're going to get down this road and show y'all. Alright guys, so we made it to the water's edge. We got the waders on. We're going to get across, and we'll get back to y'all. We're going to put y'all in a safe spot, and we'll get back to y'all when we get across this. So we'll come back to y'all when we get across, and we'll basically scout the persimmon trees, tell y'all how we're going to hunt this. We'll probably have to access it a little bit easier by boat or something. So for future reference, we're coming in probably by boat or a kayak, but I can walk in today, walk out, stay clean, all that, not have to worry about spooking them. I'm just going in to see if the trees are dropping fruit anyways. So we'll get back to y'all. Alright guys, so we had to take the walk of shame back to the truck. It turns out the water was a little bit too deep. Water's a little higher than I thought it was this year still. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to go check out another spot. That way we get y'all some content. We're going to go check out this other spot we call the campground. Pretty much just going to have to access that by boat. I'll probably go ahead and hunt it this year. I'll probably hook up the kayak, hook up the boat, whatever, and I'll come hunt it at least once early in the year to kind of figure out if it's dropping, whatever. I don't think I'll be able to get out and scout it beforehand. I might be able to, but we'll know when season comes. I'll go and hunt it, and it'll be a hit or a miss. If it's dropping fruit, it'll probably be pretty good, but if there's no persimmons, it's usually not that good. There's some acorn trees back in there that they hit, but if there's acorns dropping everywhere else, they're not going to make their trek to go hit that acorn tree. So we're going to go ahead to this next spot that we call the campsite. People used to camp in here. It hasn't been camped in a few years, but we're going to make our way around there, check it out, show y'all a little bit of stuff, kind of what we look for. Right now, they're not really laying down a whole lot of fresh sign, so a lot of what you're looking for is old sign. And when you're looking for that old sign, those scrapes, those rubs, well, not scrapes so much, but those rubs that you're finding from last year, those will be good intel for this year. You'll generally see the fresh rubs pop up in the same areas as the old ones. So what we're going to do, we're going to go walk this, go look at some of the old rubs, kind of refresh our mind on how the deer are using it, how we may want to enter and hunt it at some point. So We're going to go down there, check that out for y'all, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we're at the second spot we're going to scout, called the campground. Since the first spot was a bust, we're going to walk on down in here and kind of see what we can find. We're going to look for some fresh rubs, scrape, or there might be a scrape down already, but we're going to look for fresh rubs, any fresh sign, old signs, stuff to tell us from last year, this year, whatever. We're going to go down in here and check it out. We'll show y'all along the way. But somewhere right down in here there was a rub from last year. It was on one of these trees along here. We'll keep an eye out for it for y'all. Oh, is that part of it? No, it was this right here. So this was an old rub from last year. As you can tell, it's pretty old. And it's not huge, it's not far off the ground. It was put on a pretty decent sized tree, but it wasn't. It was pretty tore up when it was there, but as you can tell, it's old, and there's probably a little deer trail that goes right up through there. But they like to come from that side over there, across the road, and come back in here and stuff to bed. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue on down this trail, kind of head a little closer to the bedding. Alright guys, I wanted to touch base. This was actually one of the sections and areas. This tree right here was dropping really good acorns. And my uncle actually sat in a tree, I think right back there is where he sat, and he shot a buck out of it last year. 7-point, had 5 on one side and 2 on the other, but it was a pretty interesting buck. But he shot it right in here, which isn't far. I think about 35 yards from that rub we just showed y'all, which very well could have been the buck that he shot. But we're going to walk on further down here. There's some more acorn trees and stuff, and it gets a little bit closer to their bedding and a little bit closer to the lake. So we're going to keep on down this hill. But this is actually one of the spots which, as you can see, we had just walked in through this trail, which that rub was somewhere right up in there, just on the other side of that thick stuff. But we're going to continue on down the trail, and we'll get down closer to the bedding and some of the more places where they had rubs and stuff from last year. Alright guys, we're in what people used to call the campground, which as you can see here, it's kind of open down in here where they kept it cleared out. Nobody's been in here since last year. There was one person that came down here and camped last year for like one weekend during season. Didn't seem to mess too much stuff up. It actually made the deer travel more on a set amount of trails and kept them a little less random. But a lot of this, like down in here past this, so this is open. A lot down in there is towards the lake, and there's nice good thick bedding that way, and there's good bedding that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue kind of on this way, because along this thick edge right here, they like to put down a lot of scrapes. So there's a thick edge and it kind of opens up and then it hits the lake. So what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of head back down in here, kind of check out the bedding, see if there's any scrapes, any fresh rubs, any old rubs, anything like that. We're going to continue on down this way. Alright guys, so we're going to give y'all that pretty good example of a licking branch real quick. So what we're going to show y'all here is pretty much as you look here, you can see that one right there. It's been nibbled off. See how this one right here hasn't been nibbled off? It's not because they're browsing on it for the most part, because if they were browsing on it, all these would be nipped off. And as you can see, they're not all nipped off. Even this one's not nipped off. It's trying to grow a little new end on it. But this one's been nipped off. And you'll find some that'll be broken and like chewed down. Which this is one that probably wasn't hit a whole lot. It might have been hit a few times last year. But it's broken off. There's obviously no disturbance of the ground. But there's been no disturbance of the ground. And, but they might still come back and sniff and lick on this branch, but they probably won't disturb the ground until they start putting down their ground scent, their rutting style scent. So they don't really start to do that till it starts getting more into that October, when they're laying down the scrapes. When you see them breaking the ground, they'll start peeing in them more. Bucks will come by this and take a pee. They're not necessarily trying to pee into a scrape or anything like that, but they will come sniff the branch, maybe pee, but whatever. They won't really disturb the ground and really try to make sure that their scent's there and stays till about October, till the season starts to get here real good. So now we're gonna hop back out to the truck. We're gonna go scout them fields for y'all. Alright guys, so we made it back to the truck. We're gonna go on and go down the road and try to scout and see if we can get any deer in these fields. Pretty much see if we can get any deer on camera in these fields for you. So we're gonna do that. We'll be headed down the road. Hopefully we can see a few. Sometimes it's a hit or miss. Sometimes they don't hit the field, it's still dark, but that's what we're gonna do. We got one deer standing out here. I lost her. We got one deer standing out in this field. Looks like a doe. But she's way out in the middle of this field, surrounded by these cows. But she's out early in the day. That's a good sign. So we got one doe standing out there. It's for sure a doe. But we're going to go ahead and get a move on before these people think we're weird filming their field. But we got a doe standing out there. That's just some of the stuff that we look for when we're out scouting. Just see if they're out in fields, out moving around. It's like 6 o'clock, 6:15 right now, and she's out in the middle of the field feeding right now, which is pretty good. Chances are that they won't be doing that come acorns dropping, but they might still be out here. And this is pretty close to some core land. It's about, the closest core land's about 100 yards off this property, but it's boat accessible, so we'll definitely think about that. We'll definitely be thinking about that, but for the most part, we're going to be focused in the woods. We don't really get the chance to shoot fields and hunt fields and all that, being as we hunt public land. But knowing that they're getting out on them fields early is a good thing to know. So glad we could show y'all at least one deer, because we didn't catch the group of 3 beforehand. They were a lot closer to the road than I expected them to be when I stopped, and so they took off pretty quick. But that one was far enough away, she had no worry in the world. She'll probably feed back into those woods back off over there, and shoot, she might be making her way onto the public land. But we're glad we could bring y'all a scouting video. We're gonna close it out here. Hope y'all enjoyed. Remember, like and subscribe, and stick around and be a lifer. Alright guys, we'll catch y'all back in the next video. Alright guys, we're back. We actually have another deer standing right there. It's another doe. But she's standing right there. I don't know how well y'all can see that. She is right there. It actually looks like there's something on that tree. They might have these people might have a salt block on that tree right there. I don't know if y'all can see, but it looks like there's a salt block right there, and she's right there. And this is only, once again, 75 to 100 yards away from core land. We're only about 50 yards from her, and she doesn't have a care in the world. But we're gonna get on out of this middle of this road. But we brought y'all another deer.